This morning, after Damien's introduction, I would like to give you more fun stories about China, that how creative can we be in creating frauds. And so this is a complication. Right now in China, there's a huge number of publishers. Right? So for example, even for video sites, we have 10 plus of them. And for social media sites, verticals, hundreds. And for mobile, it's even worse. It's really terrible. It's very difficult to talk to them all. And generally, there's low transparency in China. For example, most of the sites in China, they don't actually allow third-party JavaScript code to be embedded. And the introduction of third-party ad serving just started. Publishers started to open for that. The concept has been introduced to China long ago, but it just started to be implemented. And there's still a very high percentage of traditional way of buying ads. So cost per day still counts for a very high percentage. And in that case, however, at the same time, we introduced programmatic to China. Things started to grow from 2014. These days, it's growing really fast. And every brand advertisers are willing to try it. They want to do it. But at the same time, even when they are trying really new stuff, the measurement is still at a very low penetration overall to the markets. So that's the complicated parts, that we have very aggressive brands in China try to get their ROI better, but they don't actually have good measurement tools. Okay, so based on the previous slides, here are something that we see constantly. Actually, the frauds we saw can be separated into three kinds. The first one is mistargeting. In China, we tend to buy content. For example, we sponsor huge TV variety shows, and we buy specific drama because that's the way most of the TV buyers used to do, especially on videos. So we see a lot of cases that in China, for specific program you buy, the publishers, medias, tend to misplace your ads because they oversold their inventories. Okay, so we see cases that are 99.5% mistargeting. Okay, that's the most extreme case. And demographics targeting, of course, based on reach, you need to buy specific target audience and then mistarget a lot. And the conversion, this is actually a creative part. In the rest part of the world, you see misclick. Okay, registration, even downloads. In China, we can give you fraud test drive. We can give you fraud purchase, and pretty much everything. Any KPI that you want. There are suppliers that can supply you whatever KPIs you want. Okay, and I will show you later how that was done. And of course, the rest part is non-human traffics. General understanding is there's about 30% in China. But when it comes to programmatic, we don't have the number, but we do see cases that over 80% of the spending that you purchased in one campaign was gone. Okay, and there are some more. Okay, so this is a chart. This study is done by an industry organization led by government, which you can see that video sites, which is the most commonly used media in China, is better, but verticals is actually pretty bad. It's about 30-something%. And this is based on traditional buying model, not in programmatic. Programmatic is much, much worse than this. And coming to search, there's only one search company in China, so anyway. This is a chart I would like to share with you that, as I said, in China, we can give you all kinds of KPIs. This is called the workshop. You can see that on one wall, there will be 100 mobile phone or pad, okay? And they generally, they should be the same type of machine. It's either Apple or Android, specific kind of Android, Samsung or whatever. And we have thousands, if not tens of thousands, of this kind of workshop all across China that, for example, a game company or like a credit card company, you want to have downloads, installs, and even time of play. We hire people in local, like rural areas, and to actually download and play and interact with the device. So whatever KPIs you want, I can give you. That's the case in China. Okay, and we don't see this in the rest part of the world, but in China it's actually quite a common practice. And beyond the downloads and plays, of course, they can do purchase. And when there's something related to like car companies, you want to do test drive, we do test drive for you. Okay, starting from download your app, participating, and then go and test drive for you. So you just pay based on that. And that's the difficulties, when you are trying to do measurements in China, that you're not only dealing with technical technology solutions, you also deal with people solutions. That's where we need to be more creative on measurement as well. And so this is what's happening now. I'm sorry I didn't have the pictures here, but this is what's happening here in China. Since most of the brands are aware that the ecosystem in China is actually not that healthy. So the brands are trying to do these three things. First, they try to control their own data assets. Okay, the simple term is that they try to build up their first-party DMP. But like before 2014, not so many brands are trying to do this because other than owning your cookie data, there's not much you can do. But starting from end of 2014, it's getting more and more interesting because right now brands are trying to connect their data with most of the major players in China. For example, like BATs, Tencent, Baidu, Alibaba. They're trying to do data partnership with the big players, and they're trying to deal with publishers, for example, like all those video sites, directly connecting their own data with publishers, all kinds of platforms. Okay. And so they would like to enable themselves, of course, by the support of technology providers, to enable them to actually manage and control all of their digital investments. That's what's happening now. So a very simple case that this is what we have just done. Pretty simple. A brand build up their data asset, build up their first-party DMP. We call it Audience Access, actually our product. That's not to mention. And then help them to, through measurements, we help them to collect all the data. And also through measurements, we help them to map the data with all the big players in China. Again, and in that case, they can do all kinds of targetings, okay, which is simple, very straightforward. But going after this, what we have to do now is that, as I said, most of publishers in China, they are still at a very close stage, not willing to open for this kind of partnership yet, but which is coming. And so that's what we focus a lot on, that how to assure that everybody's data talk to each other and how to assure that there can be all kind of measurement built in. For example, like Damien just mentioned, viewability, cross-device mapping, and also like real interactions that can be measured. So this is like similar to private marketplace concepts, but in China we might push it more aggressively, that the brand's data can also be used by others. Okay, and this is what's happening. And also, last one I would like to show you is that another creative measurement tool that we are trying to build up. That right now, say 40% of brand advertisers' ad spending on digital goes to videos in China. And what we're trying to do is that we actually deploy servers right now across about 60 cities in China, and we constantly use the server to probe the ads that we see in every cities, in every video sites. And when we see a video pre-rolls coming out, we started to record them. And in every seconds we compared the video with the contents that we got from, the creatives that we got from brands. And so through this, we actually see kind of very interesting results. For example, simple ones like on video pre-rolls, right now it's about 4 to 6 pre-rolls in China. You see the mis-sequence, and sometimes you see that even where there is a tracking code or serving code coming up, there is no videos. Or like misplacements, mis-sequence, and also sometimes you see your competitors' ads coming up. Okay. So anyway, this is what we're doing now. You need to be very creative to go against the complicated ecosystem in China. Okay. Yeah. That's
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ethan. Round of applause, Ethan Tsai.